You know, sometimes I think I purposely wait until I press live to do things like put my lip gloss on.
Better, obviously.
I have because, I do know, like, for instance, there was a time when Jennifer Lawrence, the Hollywood Euro-white actress, she would just fall everywhere in her glamorous $10,000 couture gowns, etc., just to show how, like every other woman she is, because she thinks that women are bumbling idiots, I guess. So she would just fall, and she tripped so delicately up the steps when she went to collect her Academy Award. Well, she looked like a Dior ad. I think she was wearing Christian Dior. But my point is, I think it was all a bit too calculated. And also, that was the most mundane movie she won an Oscar award for.
What was that?
Some silver linings, blah, blah. It was the most boring movie, and she won, because as I've told you, the U.S. Motion Picture Academy Awards, blah, 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 Motion Picture Academy Science is what they want to call themselves. They like their actresses to uglify themselves, to dumb down and uglify, not dumb down, to prove their worth by stripping them of all their glamour and, making them act. But of course, outside of the acting, they've got to be super glamorous, super glamorous, super glamorous. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the lives of our days.
Hey.
Sorry about that. We're a little bit like, is it Friday already? Although we're very conscious of, well, you are. You're not conscious in terms of, it's Friday. Just the space of time.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, what happened? This is why we need time as a measurement. Otherwise, we're all going to be like me and say, well, wasn't it Monday just 5 minutes ago? Because this is why we need time measurement. Because without the measurement of a construct of time, we wouldn't be able to...
Mic on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, no one's here to tell us yet, but I'm sure they will. I tested it before. Anyway, so yes, this is the lives of our days, the Daily Egg, Friday, September 22nd,
Yes.
2023, and I believe the equinox is happening soon. I always assumed it was around the 21st, 22nd, but I think this year, probably because the world is on a tilt, and I'm serious about that. The world has tilted because of earthquakes and tsunamis.
It's always been on the tip.
Oh, right, yeah, I know, but it's tilted just a fraction more. And apparently that is really doing crazy things. We're going to read some news headlines because they're two very interesting things. I'm serious. Oh, first of all, I guess if you want to know what I'm wearing. Oh, shit, I just pulled it. Sorry. Nobody wants vulgarity. Breakfast with a side of vulgarity because I've just pulled apart this thing. Sorry about that. Anyway, breakfast with a side of vulgarity. That's the Daily Egg. Good morning. Anyway, I was explaining what I'm wearing. This is, what have I done with my pen? This is what's called a keffiyeh, or I think in Jordan, I think they call it a shmah, and it's spelt S-H-E-M-A-G-H, shmah. I bought this in Jordan at a desert castle, like in the middle of the desert, obviously. Where else would a desert castle be? And I can't, Casa Amra, something like that. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely stunning. And that has been around since the 700s.
No way.
Is that how you say?
Yes.
700 something. So
since 700 BC.
Well, since I don't know the language of
before
dating, not dating, but like the dates. How do you place dates?
Before 1980, I don't know.
Thank you. Me. So around 700. So around that time, that's where. So this is a keffiyeh or a shmah from Jordan, the desert castle, and that's what I'm wearing today. Anyway, we are going to read some news headlines today, much to Dwayne's disappointment. He looks forward every day to me not reading the news after stating this is the news hour or 2 or 10. I don't know. We do get... Listen, I want to talk about Friends, not the show.
No,
not the show. The show is problematic. Still very funny, okay? Things aren't funny anymore.
No.
Shows aren't funny. It's so try hard. We were getting to news.
All the jokes like a reality now. Like this is too real. Some jokes are like, well, dude, cool.
I don't know what it is. But you know what's what I'm talking about friends for. Because Rupert Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch, he was Aussie once, but now he's just a... Anyway, he has finally retired, and I looked around, I couldn't find my husband because he's wearing all black, and he just sort of, well, not black, but dark clothes, and I couldn't find you, my ninja. My ninja! I shouldn't say that too. Is that cultural appropriation? Ninja? Yes, it should be. It would be. Anyway, you are a ninja. And so, this is the thing. Rupert Murdoch has retired, right? This is big news. And you know what? He's like, I don't know, 168? It's about time. Apparently, there's a show. You know how when we don't really watch a lot of the popular TV shows, streaming shows on at the moment, Yellowstone and Succession. I will say that I no longer watch. Hey, hello, Azrael. I'm sorry, I don't look at I don't look at comments. Hope you don't mind. But if I do look at comments, all I'm going to be doing is this, and then looking at comments, and then I get a bit self-conscious about seeing people here. So I tend not to look at the in this orientation, the right side of my screen, which is the left to yours, because, I don't want to get sort of distracted by, but otherwise I will read comments out. But after we post, let me start again. After we post the live, the comments disappear and reactions disappear, so I have to keep it just straight to camera. So I was talking about Rupert Murdoch. Yes, he has retired, and then I digressed a little because I'm trying to get to a point here. My darling is grating ginger for our ginger tea, for those of you who've come in late. The Daily Egg is our breakfast show. No, please do carry on, sweetheart. I was just explaining that you were grating ginger over there, just in case anyone was like, what's that noise? So let me explain. This is what's happening. We're brewing. Well, my husband brews. Is daily brews. I don't know. Brews. Hey, brew. Said brew. And that's beautiful ginger. Now, back to spicy. I don't know what I said. So, yes, so Succession and Yellowstone, all these popular things. I don't actually watch this live feed. What do you mean is this saved video? If it says live, it's live. But hello, thank you for asking a question, but if it says live, I don't know. I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're in Fiji, you're watching this from the future.
Ooh. Unless you're a time traveler and watching it from the past.
It's too early in the morning, and I'm still figuring out what day it is, like how to get to Friday, darling. Don't spin me out on that one.
I don't even know what I said. Right?
Yeah, I don't even know. I can't even unpack it right now. But I was talking about Rupert Murdoch. A name like that, he became so... Anyway, so yes, Succession, this television show, is apparently based on the Murdoch clan. I don't know if you know a lot about them. They're media moguls, and Murdoch is responsible for a lot of the state of our information highways now. Fox is his network, and they're based in England, and it's just trash media. Fake news, trash media. Create scandals to create news. It's terrible what's being done to the world by the people who run it, the rich people, the oligarchs. Really, it's not just Russia that has their economies and their governments run by their billionaires. It's not. It's actually the world is run by the billionaires, not by the governments that we think are, because the governments that are that have taken over running countries, well, unfortunately, they're looking for the money too. Anyway, so Succession, I don't watch it. We don't watch these shows. I do make a point of not... Look, I'm getting really bored with the constructs. I'm getting bored with seeing the same old. So Eurostream shows, particularly American ones, don't interest me anymore. I get a little bit bored with the same old faces. I want to see people of the global majority. I want to see people of multicultural. I want to see people of color. So the shows we watch are all, brown, black, Asian origin, indigenous, First Nations. I wish there was more shows done by First Nations people about their stories, or just not necessarily just about their stories. Like, for instance, you must if you can, I'm just going to do a bit of a side plug here about one of the other playlists we have on our YouTube channel. We do reviews, and they're more fan analysis. And one of the major big shows we do a lot of analysis episodes of is Warrior. It is an incredible show. It is based on a treatment, and a treatment means writings, just initial preliminary writings. It's based on a treatment by Bruce Lee. Every time we see his name on the credits, we go, ooh. It's like, in The Lion King when they sing, Mufasa. It's like, I don't know why I keep coming closer to it, because I don't have to, because I'm wearing a mic, and I hope it's not scratchy, because I move around so much. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Or can't, really, actually. So, yes, I was saying about Mufasa. Anyway, Warrior is from a treatment by Bruce Lee, and his daughter, Shannon Lee, along with two other extremely, extremely esteemed, respected, skilled showrunners, Jonathan Tropper and Justin Lin. I think Justin Lin is Fast and Furious. We really do need to talk about movies and stuff. Anyway, we talk a lot about Warrior. We talk about Warrior on our podcast. And if you go to our YouTube channel, thestylender.com's, at The Stylander, that's our YouTube handle, you will see our playlists of many, many things we review and how we do it. Dwayne illustrates what we are talking about. So all of these reviews and analysis are in an illustrated manner, and we talk over it, or Dwayne edits and lays a soundtrack over it. However, now we've decided to do things live, because I, for one, am really tired. We both are, but Dwayne doesn't have these, I'm sick and tired of these things, whereas I do. I am that blustery person who says these things.
What was that game at 20?
Right, yeah, but you decided there's just... Whereas I've never been angry. I've had far too much privilege to be angry, and I thought, no, but I have been angry on everybody else's behalf, because I saw what the privilege gave me and what it didn't give, and what lack of privilege didn't give others. So on their behalf is why I got and remained angry, and I make sure that anger is not about, well, what about me? I make sure that it's not about me, and it's more of a structured anger, so that I know that I'm angry about the injustices. Say, for instance, I've really gone off tangent here, and I'm sorry. I'll get back to Warrior, but I'm just saying these things that if I get angry about how things are in Fiji, and it's easy for me to say I'm not in Fiji. We don't live in Fiji, and we're offshore, and it's hard looking and like do this and do that and do this, everybody. But I get I don't say this anymore to people in positions who are trying to get out of those hardship positions. I don't say these things. Only people of privilege look from their high pedestals, high horses, and tell people without privilege, try harder. Do this. Why don't you do that? I was one of them. I was one of those people. Despite everything I thought I understood and knew about, the tiers of inequity and the lack of privilege in the world, I still operated from privilege. Anyway, I've gone off track here. I'm talking about Warrior. Please do go onto our YouTube channel, The Stylander, and our reviews are short, not like everything else that I do, which is like, I can talk, in case we haven't understood that, then, yeah. Anyway, so this was the news hour, but it's rapidly becoming standard, not the news hour. I was talking about Warrior, and that is such an incredible production. I really, really enjoy. So far, no one has told me if they can hear me, so I'm going to assume you are not here. I don't know. People maybe come and go. I'm not sure.
Maybe they can hear, so they don't have to say.
Okay. Well, all right, but I would like a thumbs up or something. But anyway, that's fine. So far. What's happened is that our microphones need to be charged.
All right.
Mine has stopped blinking, so hopefully you can hear us now. And unfortunately, now we're going to hear all the ambient noise, everything around us. because why reason we're wearing microphones so you don't hear all the other things. But anyway, I hope you can hear us now. I just stumbled over my words. And also, PJ Southpaw. Well, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before, but good morning and welcome to the Lives of Our Days, the Daily Egg. It's the breakfast show where you get news, views, reviews, and stuff and things. So okay, now I was talking about the news. I was talking about Succession. I was talking about the show that is based on the Murdoch clan. So Rupert Murdoch at 92. Ugh, finally. Why do these old, Eurostream white people just not vacate like bloody Elizabeth of Windsor? My husband and I finally dead, and Chuck can take the throne. That fool, he's going to die soon anyway. He didn't drink gin like me. I preserved myself. Anyway, that was yesterday's show. I was saying about Rupert Murdoch. So he has retired finally, and Lachlan Murdoch has taken over. Now Lachlan's a dick. Lachlan has sucked the dictatorship that his father has forced upon all of them. There's about 4 children. One has James Murdoch has made it his life's mission to take down that organization his father made into an even bigger blight on the world, and has sucked the integrity of the world out of its marrows by feeding information to the world that is corrupting it. This is such a light topic for this morning. Anyway, look, if it's lightness and ass you want, you're in the wrong place. Here we give you nakedness of mind, depth, profundity, some craziness.
You're having toast, my love.
And toast. And toast. So this is the breakfast show. So, right, look, and then there's 2 others, I don't really know. And then there's 2 other people, daughter and something. And if you've watched the show Succession, then you know supposedly the Rupert Murdoch family and how it is. But Murdoch, look, I don't get what you have always said this thing that old Eurostream white guys can get any woman they want kind of thing. Because I have looked at Rupert Murdoch, and have you seen the women? Rich. Yeah, but to people of women or people trying to get out of countries that have been relegated to third world status or global south, or just refuse to be seen as developing countries. Like Fiji is seen as a developing country because of blindness, because they refuse to see what is contemporary about Fiji. So instead of making it developing, it's actually a potential country. The potential in that country is huge. But everybody who goes in there that is of an expatriate Eurostream white origin, they go in there to leech and suck, and be inspired and go in to tell everyone. So if they colonize, there's still a modern form of colonization happening in Fiji, when expatriates are still going in and look, they're not teaching. They're not teaching people. They think they are. They're not. They're actually showing people what to do and making them dependent upon them. Anyway, it's the whole thing, teach them how to fish or fish for them. Something like that. But I have digressed. Anyway, look, digressing is just a standard part of this show. I do tend to go choo 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 choo, but I hope that I can weave the threads back enough, just bring them back from here and unfold an entire story for you. Otherwise, look, I don't know. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh my God, Succession, the show, I don't watch it, neither Dwayne and I watch it, because we predominantly watch shows created by people of multiculture and color and people of the global majority. There's amazing things here. So Warrior, which is it's now on HBO Max. It's a Cinemax production, so American, and it's absolutely amazing. In Australia, you can get it on Binge, and I believe you can get it on YouTube. It is an incredible show. The other show we watch is Made in Heaven, which is an Indian production. Oh my gosh. Again, not a show that Dwayne would normally be into. I mean, it's about wedding planners and stuff like that. It's really glamorous and gorgeous, and but incredible storylines, intense, incredible storylines that even though Eurostream is afraid to tackle, or they don't do it as well. So the Eurostream, there's all sorts, but like, so Made in Heaven, I mean, they tackle issues about that, non-binary and queer and trans and heterosexual dynamics, and also, domestic violence and arranged marriages, and it's really and the manipulation that goes in on everything, and the hierarchy. And because it's India, people will say, yeah, but India has this class and caste system. My friend, I gotta tell you. Why am I speaking like that? I have to tell you, the world is a class-based system. I hate the word classy. Speaking of which, I really don't like the word classy, but we're colonizing. Now, if you are new to the Daily Egg and the Breakfast Show and the lives of our days, then you may not have heard this word that Dwayne coined about 2 weeks ago. Colonization. This is what we're doing. We are colonizing the world.
Damn straight.
I need to stop acting like this. Sorry, but this is just how I am. I just Anyway, so I was saying, so that's what the shows we watch. What else do we watch? Well, we watch all sorts of things.
We watched that American Born Chinese or something.
Yeah,
that was good.
It was good.
It was based on that comic, remember?
Yes.
And the kid.
But look, about 3 years old now. How Do They Fall?
Yes.
Movie. It was on Netflix. Oh, Idris Elba, Regina King. Oh God, Jonathan Majors when he wasn't a dick. Apparently.
Is he, or was that like they're just trying to cancel another superstar black man?
Because they have been, Hollywood has been canceling a lot of their black American stars, because it's almost like black American stars have to pay taxes. They've got to pay something here before, like, so Will Smith. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I like Will Smith. All right. Anyway, this is not about all of that, but it is about Hollywood. And let's go wind it back, please. We'll talk about our favorite TV shows, etc. Maybe a special edition this weekend.
Yeah, sure.
I know. We'll talk about our favorite television shows and what they actually mean for the world, etc. And how we really need to expand our mind by viewing other things. When I've lived in other countries, what I've done is I've watched their shows, and that's how I've been able to. I've digressed. Let me finish one sentence at least. That's how I have been able to learn their languages, because a lot of people who come to mainly English-speaking countries, or who learn to speak English in their countries, they do it by watching television. English is not a hard language to learn to speak. It is, however, a very complicated language to read and write, because E-N-O-U-G-H, Enog. No, you're wrong. What? You said that this was good. So, but of course, again, that's what I also need to talk about, the origins of the English language. Now, English is a lingua. No, it's not lingua franca. Is it? What did you called it a pigeon, didn't you? Because it's been taken from all other words. Now, people think that English is Latin in origin, but it's not. It's actually Germanic with occasional Latin words, because there were a lot of old French words like enough. The spelling of enough originates actually from Old Latin or Old French. So the oof was there. But the Germans said, no, just, pronounce it like we do. And the French said, but we want to spell it our way. So the English really are just all French and German. As I said yesterday, the House of Windsor, the British royal family, are actually German.
So I just pictured a bunch of wankers sitting around a table discussing how to create English.
Let's confuse the natives. Let's make them learn how to speak like us. But, the bastards language. PJ Southpaw just said it's called the bastards language. I haven't said it. PJ.South_Paw.
Yes.
And so, yeah. Anyway, so, good Lord, I have digressed so far. So I'm bringing it back to Succession. I was talking about Warrior. We're going to have a show, a special edition where we'll talk about our favorite shows and recommend things. Also, I really love old school Hindi cinema, which is what the world knows as Bollywood. Bollywood is not the be all and end all of Indian cinema, because Indian cinema has about 20 25, 26, 27 industries. There are so many languages. Like in all countries of multicultural, not one language actually speaks for the people of that country. You know, the people within the country are actually separate people who understand that they coexist. But anyway, colonization and capitalism insists on separation and segregation. That's how we make profit. Absolutely. Lots of Hindi, as PJ Southpaw has also said, there's a lot of Hindi and Arabic. And this is why I always find it amusing when people, consider English as a benchmark of intelligence, particularly in countries like Fiji, where English is an official language. So we all officially are English speakers. And then if we're lucky, we get to speak other languages and the languages of our origin at home. But for those of us who have studied, who understand our languages or I love English because that is the language I best express myself in. That is the language I have been educated in the colonizer constructs. And I love English. I love the dexterity of it and how there's a million words for one word. And that, you and I need to talk about languages another day because there's something you had said about Hindi. And Dwayne can't speak any other language other than English, even though he's triracial. And I think that's okay. But I love learning languages. And so lucky for you, I do know a bit and I can pick them up.
Oh, yeah. You're very good at language.
But what I'm saying, when we're traveling, etc., then I can...
Like when we're watching movies where you even have to read subtitles. After a while, you stop reading the subtitles.
I have been, but that's just a skill that some people have.
I know, yeah, you pick up language really well, and my dad too used to be like that. So there are people who, it's incredible.
Yeah, your dad was half indigenous Fijian, and he's half Chinese. So
I think people who can speak more than one language can pick up language.
Yes, if you can speak more than one language, you can pick up other languages quite quickly. So I was talking about succession. PJ Southpaw also has said, "Don't get me started on American English and English." Well, we were actually having this thing yesterday.
The English don't even speak English.
Because the English don't speak English. The only English speakers in colonizer worlds don't actually speak English properly. It's always the colonized people who speak English more.
Excuse me, I just have to use the microphone for 30 seconds.
And I have to cough, so we're just going to take a 30-second noise break. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to cough.
It's a very beautiful cough.
Oh yes, because I must call to. This is a noise break. You can't see me. I'm just acting like there's nobody here, and this is an ad break, and I'm just going to gather my thoughts because I still have to talk about the news because this is the no news hour.
Yeah.
And with breakfast. Would you like to see my breakfast? I'll show you my breakfast. Excuse me. There's such exciting things here. Look, it's breakfast. Alright, look. I'm going to eat breakfast with you. And we're going to talk about the news. So we're talking about Succession, right? And so this is based on the Murdochs. So now this is really interesting. It'll be interesting to see where Lachlan Murdoch takes this. I mean, is he just going to continue the legacy of his evil? The evil legacy of what already exists? And now it's going to be brother against brother because James Murdoch, get behind this guy, James Murdoch is really going to make it his mission to pull this down. But what if it's all just bullshit? What if it's all just intrigue? What if James is just a pawn?
It's a movie waiting.
Yeah, and it's all just an intrigue that he doesn't really want to take down his family's. What are the words here? These tyrants, these big organization owners. Anyway. Gosh, speaking of which, Qantas is really quaintly copying it because, well, their CEO, Alan Joyce, who is just much maligned by human beings, but in the corporate world, they're not human beings. They love him because he makes billions out of for people. And that's the bottom dollar. Bottom line, in capitalist corporate structures, no use sitting here going, it's not fair that Alan Joyce gets to have squillions when he retires after doing all these bad things. He made me miss my flight. I didn't get my credits, but not me. This is what people are saying. Look, I've loved Qantas until I didn't. But I do love Qantas. But I do see just terrible things because I have been flying Qantas for 45 years. And, I also remember Air Pacific, and how it was. So I remember all these airlines, and wow, it's all just about profit. So everyone's saying that people like the CEO, ex-CEO of Qantas, Alan Joyce, who they feel have failed them, the consumers, the very people who make companies rich. The same companies that are owned by people who are rich people, who are billionaires, who then look at people and say, you should save your money if you want to travel. Don't complain about high prices. This is what they say to people. Those rich people say to people, save your money. Don't complain about high prices. Anyway. So, we'll get to the news, because there's some things happening here. So that's about that guy, right? And, look at this. This, what am I reading? So don't look at this, just listen to me. Or look at my face. Or don't. This young woman was jailed in Indonesia she was an influencer. So what she did is listen to this. Indonesian TikToker with more than 2 million followers jailed after saying Islamic phrase before eating pork. Now, you know that according to the Islamic faith, we don't eat pork. There's other religions that don't eat pork, but for some reason, some of them insist that it's okay to eat ham.
That's a different story.
I mean, we've heard it, right? Someone who said they can't eat pork because of their religion, but ham's okay, they said. Right. An Indonesian court has sentenced a woman to 2 years in prison. 2 years in prison for posting a viral video on TikTok in which she said an Islamic phrase before eating pork. The court in the Indonesian city of Palembang found Lina Lutfiawati, who has more than 2 million followers on TikTok, guilty of spreading information that was intended to incite hate. Lutfiawati posted a video in March in which she said an Arabic phrase meaning in the name of God, an invocation that is normally said by Muslims before taking an action. She then began eating crispy skinned pork. In the video, Lutfiawati, who identifies as a Muslim woman, also said she was curious to try pork. In Islam, consuming pig products is considered haram or prohibited. A cleric reported her to the police for a blasphemous action, accusing her of consciously eating pork skin as a Muslim. The court also ordered her to pay a fine of 250 million Indonesian rupiah, or more than $25,000 Australian. Wow, that's crazy. So, look, I don't know why she did it then. She did it for her followers, because as people start living their life by the numbers. So this is the problem with fame and numbers. And if you've been watching the Lives of Our Days for a while now, this is something we talk about. And what I have said that what has started happening to me, which I can't stand, and I'm really hating it, is that I've started watching the numbers. I, who have not really cared about the numbers before, even though I will always have a little twinge of, why have I lost an account follower or something? Because there's a lot of spam bots, etc., etc. So, so all these things, but because I don't use hashtags, even though I have been on Instagram like for 10 years now, I'd say, yes, 10 years. More than that, I'd say since 2011. I was a late starter, and I think Instagram sort of happened around 2010. Facebook and all that happened in the 2000s, but Instagram happened around 2010. And so from 2012 onwards, I was on Instagram. I've never chased fame via it. It was always just a way for me to share, or a way for people to just share what they're seeing now. And if you are a creative, an artist, then you can show instantly your ability to create. And this is why I have chosen to go back to lives, and why we love doing lives. Because yes, we are people who have to create productions. We're creative. We're filmmakers. I'm a photographer. I'm a writer. Dwayne's an illustrator, animator, graphic artist. So we create things that we show our production skills and post-production skills as well. Well, excuse me. I love live stuff. Right now, show what you can do. So this is what I really love about it. I've digressed, darling. I've forgotten what I was saying. Instagram. So, before it really was about instantly. What do you see? Instantly, grab it. That's what Instagram was. And then it became what it is now. Instagram.
Mr. Ass.
Insta ass. Look, nothing wrong with it. I am all for, if you're young, we're all gorgeous when we're young. Go for it. I'm sick and tired of this idea that we need to be precious about our nudity and all that. Clothes are just protection, and as they evolved, clothes became identity markers. So clothes became an expression of who you are and where you're from. Identity markers, tribal markers, self-expression markers. For women of color, women of multicultural especially, clothing is a form of feminism.
Like the bilum, so people can tell which tribe they're
Yes,
from just
that's
by
right.
the pattern on the bilum.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything.
Tattoos.
Fashion is a language. Unfortunately, it's been bastardized along with everything else. And the Eurostream fashion constructs, what we all wear in the world now, no one seems to be curious about why. Why? And this is another conversation, something you have said, something we talk about, how the Eurostream colonizers stole everything because they do not have culture. So they don't, because the way we have imaginationed it is that they broke out of a great thaw, and that kickstarted the evolution. Survival created desperation, which created the brain to evolve and find new ways of survival. So that's why they evolved really quickly. And so they had to go find culture. Now this is just simplifying the long process that is the evolution of humanity on this planet. And so I lost my thread again.
My goodness, wow.
Darling, you've got to stop listening to me.
I'm so sorry. You're so engaging.
Dwayne listens to me.
I lose track.
Which, really, please, I love it. But also, because men especially don't like, people, now I've digressed again.
Yeah, so it's
that's why you can't keep up with me.
It's very hard. Sorry. I try. I do sometimes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've lost my thread of what I was saying. I'm a bit annoyed about that. This is why I have to write down. This is why I depend on you. You. Not you. You. He listens to me too much.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful, because as I was saying, people tend to listen to other people so that they can voice their opinions. So I was saying something about, but you listen to me, and it's wonderful, but it's also really annoying when I'm like, darling, I'm digressed a bit too much. I don't know what I'm saying. So this is a lesson to me. See how I just blamed my husband for something that is my thing? I need to keep myself in the moment. And I've gone all over the place. Still trying, what's happening right now while I'm talking to you, my mind is actually really trying to find where that last thread that has just slipped me has gone. So I'm sorry about that. I have really digressed to the point where I can't get back to that, but I was talking about how the colonizers and the evolution, that's it, evolution kickstarted that. So they stole culture. They went around the world and appropriated everything and just said, oh, I like that. I'll take a little bit of spirituality from here. We'll take a little bit of these people's sciences and just discount it there. We'll take the way they make that food. They call it noodles. We'll call it pasta. Steal that stuff. Let's call it pasta. Let's take that. What are they doing? Why are they twisting themselves like that? But they all look so healthy and youthful. What's yoga? Yoga! Yoga! We're gonna take that yoga! Anyway, so that's what they did. But there's one thing the Eurostream did do then, and what we acknowledge is that they cut away some of the bullshit.
They took away some rules.
Because I'm a person of multicultural. We are people of multicultural. I love ceremony. I love, pomp and tradition. I love it. I love ritual. I believe protocol needs to exist. I feel one of the terrible things that has happened to a country of multicultural like Fiji, and when I say a country of multicultural, the cultures in Fiji, the people from all over the world. And a terrible thing has happened. What? What's happened? I can't remember. Multicultural. People of multicultural are denied the right to live that culture freely, so we make fun. Everyone gets made fun of, and if you want to show like that you are part of society and that you've made it, you've got to fit into that society's constructs. It's crazy. So what they've done, though, the other thing is people of multicultural use tradition to stop progress. There is place for tradition. There's absolute place for tradition in every single, racial groupings, cultures, society. Tradition exists for a reason, so it connects us, it grounds us, and it gives us something to, so represent. It makes us feel good. We don't feel alone if we have tradition. But tradition needs to be flexible. Tradition needs to move with the times. And unfortunately, a lot of communities of multicultural countries, communities, they double down on it. They say, no, you can't do this. And they insist on keeping their ways when they go into other countries, particularly countries that are considered first world. And so I have found that, for instance, Indian people who are living in other countries like the States or UK, etc., Australia, they're very strict. Some people can be very strict. They want to continue the traditions of the land they left, etc., which I admire, and it needs to be. You really need to sustain it because the world needs to become a true melting pot. And the way to do it is for us to all live all over the world and then diffuse these boundaries and take away these constructs and imbue these societal constructs with all the color of the world. Anyway. What they did, the Eurostream, is they cut away some of these things with ball and chain that was making prisoners. And look, I'm not saying they did the right thing, because everybody would have worked it out eventually. This is what's happened to the world. We've expedited its evolution. That's what's the shit's happening in the world right now. Sydney weather is about 18 degrees, and that's after 3 days of 36 degrees, dry heat, and really, it's the kind of heat I am used to in Australia. Australia is a country of dry heat. The wind comes in from the west, and if you're on the east coast, oh, scorcher, love. But I love it. And Dwayne and I love it because we live in heat. But also we love heat, and I love outback heat, 50 degrees Celsius. Ooh, so good, so dry, so good, so good. But on the coast, it becomes a little bit irritating. When you're in cities, that heat is because you've got the concrete jungle. So you don't have trees around you to actually, give what they give, and the plants and the oxygen, the cooling effects of flora. So in cities, you have the concrete. And of course, they keep parks and stuff all that around, but it's just not enough.
Concrete absorbs heat too. So it keeps heat.
Yeah, so that's why, you're walking through a heat tunnel when you're walking through a city. So, and all of this, and of course, these wonderful buildings do act as deflectors and reflectors. So now, think about what all these reflectors on skyscrapers, the reflectors called windows, and they become giant reflectors. They're reflecting the sun's heat back onto all the vegetation, the limited amount of vegetation around. So that is drying out the vegetation even more. I am seeing now, and we have talked about this if you've accompanied us on our Lives of Our Days outside broadcasts, or when we're going on talk about, and we go collect flowers. The flowers came into bloom really early. Spring really sprung early. I just spat too, I'm sorry about that. It's live TV, I can't help it.
It's real. This
is reality TV. Spit and all. Anyway, so the wisteria, the jasmine, they've all dried up because it has been too hot, and the winter was too hot. Winter was not cold enough. There are reasons for these seasons, and that's what Earth has done. Earth is one great giant brain and heart at the same time, and the surface of this brain we live on has created counterbalances to, like, if it's too hot here, we're going to make it too cold so that people can, the surface can rest, etc. People can rest. People back then went into hibernation, but now we never do. We work through everything. We have heat inside our houses. So people are now forced to override the natural rhythm that is the rhythm of this planet and how we were created from it to become custodians of this planet. That's all pure spiritual science. Where do you think we came from? I find it really weird. And then, so now we're making the world turn to our beck and call instead of remembering that actually we're supposed to be riding the waves of this world, the rhythm of this world. That's why we're all so tired. And that's why we've expedited what we call climate change, because climate change is a fact of planet. It happens. How do you think this planet evolved to what it is now? Because of climate change. These changes, the Earth is not in our way. We're in its way. The Earth will do what the Earth has always done. It's just that with our progress and with our evolution, we have expedited a process that we should have been ready, according to, say, how the Earth envisioned human beings would evolve with this incredible brain that was, given to us as a means to evolve. It's evolution. This is evolution here, right here. This is where we came from. Before we existed, the brain did. The brain existed in the cell and created. It's so amazing. Anyway, so that's what I feel is happening. So this is why we have such a crazy weather thing happening in the world, and we think, oh my God, cities are being washed away. Yeah, because the cities got built in the. I'm not excusing this. I am not a climate change denier. It is absolutely happening, and it's going to happen regardless of what you think. These governments will say, there's no such thing as climate change, and they'll be drowned. There's no such thing as climate change. There's no such thing as climate change. We're not drowning. We're swimming in a big pool called planet Earth. It's heating up. Everything's melting. And that's why the water levels are rising. Flat earthenware. Flat earthenware. PJ Southport just made a pun. So that's what I think. And climate change is a real thing. It's also a fact of life. And governments really need to listen. Otherwise, what are we going to do? The cost of living is already making us go, cost of living. Is it cheaper to die?
It's fucking expensive to die.
It is expensive to
organize
die.
a funeral.
That's
Holy
true.
shit. Catering. My God.
Catering. Who's coming?
To the funeral?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever organized a funeral?
Yeah, my mother's.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't tell anyone.
Well, I was just...
Yeah, you had a big one because your father was,
so.
My mother was very, very loved and everyone, and plus, I just didn't want anyone there because it's very private. And that's my mother, and I was an absolute mess.
So yeah, death, sorry.
But I'm saying, now where are we going with this?
Living.
Cost of living. What a stupid term that is, cost of living. What is our option? What's our option? Well, because of that, we also don't have an option. We don't have a planet B. We don't have an option. And I don't know, I've got no solutions for that. It's not in our hands, and we're making human beings, civilians, who do not have that power to do anything to change other than use our platforms to talk about this and educate and share what we know and think, and hopefully trigger other people to go and find out more for themselves. So that's all we can do. It's up to the governments. There's nothing. No, I'm not saying there's nothing we can do. Of course, there's the little things. Every step counts. Don't throw that rubbish on the ground. Make a difference. Look around you and what can you do? Okay, well, you know what? If it does, we have to all individually think, okay, it starts with me. And that's where the changes happen. You have to just take one little thing. You don't have to go and save the world, but save something save yourself, for starters. That's perhaps the biggest thing you can do. Save yourself. Not selfishly. Find yourself. Save who you are, the person inside you, not the one that is hiding underneath all these layers of societal constructs. Gosh, where have we gone with today's Daily Egg? I don't know, but I was telling you, my husband's disappeared. But he's back. You're stuck with me. So I'm going to entertain you by eating my egg. Anyway, so this was news. So I'm just, so I was talking about that Indonesian influencer. Look, that's stupid. But again, you can't really say much about a country's laws if,
And the religion's laws.
Oh, God.
That's the rules.
Oh, God.
She broke it. You want
Yes.
But
because a silly woman thought that her numbers were going to keep her safe, because this is what people think. They think fame and having big numbers is going to keep them safe. It's going to give them riches, and it's going to create a buffer zone between them and the pedestrian public. Everybody wants fame so that they can lie. People use fame to lie. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So people want you to see this incredible life they lead. I don't know. That's why we've gone live. You know, I don't even know what the time is, but I do want to ask this one question. Why do we need friends? I don't know. I don't know. I'm no different to who I was, right? But I'm really, I think, well, this is an interesting thing. Something happened. I've gone off tangent. Forget the news. It's not going to happen. Oh, I want it to happen, but I know you know where to go find the news. If you really, really want to read the news, you'll go find the news, right? I like to unpack the news, so I will find, so maybe I'll just take one day like we used to do with the One Take News season when we did the first season of One Take News. So once a week I might just curate news headlines that are really doing my head in, and then I'll just dedicate that to the news. But I really do love news, so I'm just going to share little bits and pieces, maybe plan what I'm actually going to say one day. You know, but I was saying about friends, right? Because I've written this here. Friends, why do we need them? I don't know what prompted that conversation, apart from the fact that I am noticing that a lot of my friends have distanced themselves from me, and it's because of the things I'm saying, which I think are not any different to anything else I've said ever. It's just that I'm saying it consistently. I don't know. And I understand there are things that I am saying that can be seen as very offensive, and people will get defensive, particularly if they're offended, particularly if that has cut and hit its mark. And I'm very also aware that just because I'm speaking truth doesn't necessarily mean it's fact. There's this line. Remember that movie? It was just a recent movie, Knives Out.
Yeah.
With Daniel Craig doing his best to make everyone forget he was James Bond.
He was totally Bond.
He was like a dandy, and a dandy is an old school Euro term for men who were they're not queer, they're not but they're dressed in a certain way. They're very particular about the cuffs must be a certain inch outside of, things like that, and French cuffs and collar, cravat. So he's that. But in this movie, he says to the character played by Kate Hudson, it is very dangerous to assume that speaking your mind and truth-telling are the same thing. So I'm very aware of that. I don't just open my mouth and no filter. I know what I am saying. This is the lives of our days, and we are unscripted, unscheduled, unedited, unadulterated, but never unhinged. Always structured. I know what I'm saying. I'm not just opening my mouth and blurting anything. Or yes, sure, I say a lot of things that digress and go off into different threads. Sorry, my darling, get out of my camera. I'm not that person either. I like moving so you can see my husband's beautiful face. So I'm not that person. But I have found that a lot of people are getting, because I do say things like, and I am particularly targeting my friends from Fiji, particularly the ones who just, big personalities, lots to hide. Everyone wants to blame everybody else for their predicaments. They don't look at their choices and the consequences of their choices. Look, this is coming from someone who has always straight away. I didn't wait 10 years later like, oh, that lesson I should have learned back then. I learned my lessons straight away. Trust me. No, don't trust me. Whatever. This is what I'm saying, okay? I'm live, eating cold toast, which I don't mind. Anyway, so friends, right? And I seem to be losing a lot of my friends. And of course, clearly they weren't friends. Because I have friends, I've never really had... I have a lot of people I know, and a lot of people know me, of course. I would say I haven't really had any friends who actually know me. There hasn't been a single person in this, in my time, first 50 years of my life, who has known me. To say that I can truly say that they're my friends. I've had people I love and who love me in my life. I've been in long-term relationships. I'm, adored by people. I'm loved, etc. I was loved, and no one knew me. So, I don't know. For those of you who have listened in on previous conversations, then some of you may know I had a best friend who actually hated me and then tried to kill me, and she's now an auntie of fashion in Fiji. Bloody hell, walking around with that stupid toothless, or whatever, not toothless, gummy grin. Murderous. Anyway, some of us really attract weird people, so you have to look at yourself and go, what is it about me? What is it about me? And then, I realized that because I haven't ever told the truth of who I am, I've attracted people who don't tell the truth of who they are. And so I reflect and project who I am. So I reflect, and they bask in my reflection and they pretend to be that person. So anyway, I was talking about it. So friends, right? I unfortunately had a little bit of an implosion yesterday because my group of friends from my teen years, who I did have so much fun with, and we're all still really good friends. The friends I still choose to keep are friends I have met from my teens and my 20s. But during my teens, of course, it was an extremely traumatic time for me. And because even with that extreme privilege, what was happening at home was a completely different story. And so a photo got sent to me yesterday of that time. And I wasn't in that photo, but everyone in that photo they were wearing clothes that were mine and things that I don't know. And I remember this because it was a party I wasn't allowed to go to because, I couldn't because I was either locked in my room with some broken bones and knocked unconscious or whatever. But, and it's like, I finally have told them 35 years later, look, all that time you didn't understand, you thought I was just disappearing from, 2 weeks, a month at a time, because whatever, I was actually really being abused. But you realize no one gives a shit, because then they'll send a photo through which triggers you into thinking, wow, guys, I have just recently told you that around this time, I felt extremely alone and lonely. But I guess people have their own things, and I've got to understand, this is why I've never bored anybody with anything to do with me, and I'm boring you. On my channel, mind you. This is my channel. I'm not going on your channel and telling you all the stuff about me. And people are like, oh my God, she's still going on about that. Mate, 51 years I kept all this stuff inside me. 51 years. Broken spine, raped twice when I was 13, violence, physical, emotional, slept on the streets, the daughter of a senator at a prestigious boarding school, hated by her stepmother. Look, fuck you, I've lived a soap opera life, and look at me, I'm fabulous. Culminating with, at 28, my supposed best friend trying to kill me because she would, she wanted what I had. I'm like, what, a brain? You got one. Use it.
That's cool. I like it.
Anyway, Saga. It's Friday. That's the music for PJ Southpaw. Thank you. You don't have to be. I am very open about these things, and this is why. And I say it now. Please understand. I'm not saying it. It's just I am able to finally say these things because these things no longer govern me and they no longer control me. So I'm very open about it, and I talk about my trauma because people just see the privilege. And because of that extreme privilege I also had, because of the material privilege I grew up with and the privileges I've had my entire life, I have never led with my trauma. I have thought that as so selfish and rude for anyone with privilege to then lead with trauma and get people's sympathy through trauma. And I refuse to do that. I utilize the privileges and opportunities because, as I said yesterday, it is privilege that gets opportunities. It is opportunity that gets the chances for people to then aim for success. Without that tier, without that ladder, it doesn't happen. This is why we love rags to riches stories. So for me, and also don't worry, it took half a century, but I met my best friend. I met my best friend, my DNA match. And for me, it came in the form of an eventual intimate relationship, even though, you and I did fall in love straight away, but we were not, it was in absolute denial. and we were workmates and best friends, and it's everything starts out with respect, and really all relationships are best friendships. Even parental child, even though I don't believe a parent should be a child's best friend. That's not a parent's role. A parent should be a child's, first of all, hammock, then safety net.
Guide.
That's what a parent is. That's what everything, any position of leadership and authority is, a guide, because not everyone knows, and certainly not beautiful little children born to this world. What do they know? Anyway, so my mother was my God. My mother is my God. She gave birth to me. She gave me life. She just loved me unconditionally. She made things happen for me, and she put her life on the line for me. She literally saved me from, death, I guess, once, by putting herself in the line of the person who was about to kill me when I was 12, and me. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. God, it all sounds so dramatic. I assure you, these things now do come out of my mouth quite easily, because I can't believe that was me. And then I think, Sandhya, well done. Oh, not well done. I don't think that. I just think, well done on keeping your integrity and your credibility. Well done for not selling out your own self. Yes, I did live life very publicly, and this is why I'm also very open about all of this stuff, because if I chose the pursuit of fame, of visibility, to create my ultimate invisibility cloak, because the more famous you are, the more people think, they're all right. Nothing's wrong with them. Because we make material problems the main problems, because that's what's happened to the world. Because the main problem with the world right now is the imbalance of money, which is energy. So it is the imbalance of energy in the world. What is really causing the world's problems? The lack of money that a hell of a lot of people have. So only 1% don't have that. And trust me, they're all still fucked up there too. Worse. Money can't buy happiness. That is bullshit. Money can buy freedom, which then it's your choice if you're going to be happy or not. Some people just will never be happy, and some people are happy with nothing. There are villagers who are like the biggest smiles on their faces. That's all they want with their lives. Not everybody wants mansions. But anyway, this was not meant to be some sort of, I don't know, Oprah hour. So it was supposed to be news.
Banaka Dr. Phil.
Banaka Dr. Phil. Oh my God, am I in Jerry Springer? Jerry. I'm far out. I hated that show. It was, but I
still have those shows.
I think Jerry Springer passed away, but I'm sure. I don't know. We don't watch television. But it was always midday television. I mean, oh my God.
Reality TV.
That was reality TV. It was all made up too. A whole hell of a lot of it was crazy.
Yeah, staged shit.
But anyway, as I had said, so what I do like about this generation, don't let this trauma fester. What I don't like about this new generation is, come on, build some intestinal fortitude. That just helps us all operate from a, what? When you build intestinal fortitude, you build some calmness within yourself. Then you can call upon that calmness. So you then don't act on rashness and irrational, decisions and fear and desperation. Blah, 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 blah. Advice. Oh, I'm not here for it. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to give advice. I don't give advice. He doesn't give advice at all. So I'm on my channel with my husband on our show.
Some people shouldn't give it.
And yes, some people. What, me?
No.
Oh.
Me. That's why I don't give it.
You have the best advice ever.
Anyway, carry on.
Dwayne doesn't say a lot, because when he does, he has thought about it because he listens, and then if advice is asked for, is when he gives advice. I tend to give advice even if it's not asked for, which is a bit annoying, so I'm sorry if I've done that to you, but I'm a solutions person, so if you want a solution, come to me. I will help you find a solution, but I'll also I'm quite look, I don't see things as a crying problem. Why are you crying? That's the kind, is that a crying problem? I don't think so. Can you fix it? Cry to get rid of the, excess emotion built up in you, but can you fix it? And if you can't, why are you looking at other people to fix it? If other people are the ones who can fix it, because really, a lot of times, other people, if you can't turn to yourself, then who are you turning to? Anyway. But as I was saying, I was alone for 50 years, despite being surrounded by people. Not lonely, because I had learned something about myself. I never looked at myself and went, oh gosh, there's something wrong with me. Yeah, I did. but in a good way, like, there's something wrong with me. Why have I taken the Moulin Rouge cabaret music and made it, my theme song? Anyway, so I have never I've always known that I have been at odds with everybody, but I'm not. It's like, when I say odds, people think I'm polarizing or weird or too much or extra or whatever it is that you're not enough for. So it's so wonderful, my darling, that it was, for me, worth it. Because being alone, because other people can't quite get you or don't quite understand why you're so vocal about things. You think I'm vocal now. I've been like this my entire life. Which is why in the 90s I was chosen as a representative to showcase excellence in Fiji. Which is why in progressive Fiji then, regardless of what tier of society you were in, we've unpacked this, and you have said to me, yeah, you talk about a progressive Fiji, but maybe it was just an elite society. No. All countries of this world, regardless of what constructs, etc., they've had... that sound is stuck in PJ Southpaul's head now. Sorry.
All day, bro.
Sorry. So yeah, all countries have societies that have progress, and then the villages, so there's tiers. So even in the States, I'm sorry, but you have actual people, real, like the people like to say for instance in Fiji, people in villages, etc., they like to say, oh, these are, not advanced people, they're just from, mate, they're probably more advanced than some of the people in Midwest United States. I gotta tell you. Anyway, so, I was saying society, blah, 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 but I have digressed to the point where I don't really know. What's the time, my darling? Maybe it's time for us to go. It is. It's time for us to go. It's an hour and a bit. I'm trying to keep this to that hour and a bit. Otherwise, I could talk for 10 days. And then where are we going to be without battery life, actually? So, okay. Thanks for being here. What have we got this weekend? We don't really know. We'll just we'll decide. We'll wake up. It's Saturday. Hey, what are we going to do today? We might go for a walk. We might go and do some something. Oh, we've actually. This is a creative's life. We've actually got some work tomorrow. I've got meetings tomorrow morning. So there you go. It's the life of a creative. It's never really over. I don't really know if I've said anything worth taking advice from, but I hope there's some things that can resonate. As I said, I don't give advice, but I share things that can maybe make someone out there feel, oh my gosh, I understand. This happened to me, or this is how I feel. Or maybe, like, what is she saying? These are thoughts in my head, and why is she saying it out loud? Because I'm saying this thing about friends, right? Everyone says, oh, friends are everything. Not for everybody. My friends have consistently let me down my entire life. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
And yet I haven't judged them for that, even though I've been annoyed and hurt, because I have then had to think, well, what is it they know of me? A lot of my friends have accused me of never sharing anything with them, or being so privileged I have no idea what's happening. But whereas I've said, I have always thought, I'm not going to bond with anybody through weaknesses. I'm not going to bond with people through trauma. I'm going to bond through strengths and joy. So that's why we're all here. Strengths and joy. And thanks for being with us today. We'll see you sometime this weekend. And this is the Lives of Our Days, the Daily Egg for Friday, September 22nd, 2023. Sometime this weekend will be the equinox. And for the Southern Hemisphere, welcome spring finally. Bye.